It's Daybreak on Rise News, and it's time for the press preview. First look at what's on the front pages of the papers. We start with our sister publication, This Day newspaper, and on its front page it says INEC's application to court to reconfigure BVAS raising integrity questions. It has a rider, let me read that. It's a commission harps on need to reset devices before their deployment for governorship and state House of Assembly polls that comes up on Saturday, the 11th of this month. And just above that, PDP, ample evidence shows INEC's deliberate complicity to rig presidential election. Two riders there says commission deceived Nigerians, knowingly deactivated BVAS. APC dismisses opposition parties' protest. And on the white strip just below the This Day logo, Sanwo-Olu has done so well, he deserves second term, says Oshoba. You can find that on page 10. And just above the This Day logo, Toyeko pledges to create 230,000 jobs in first 100 days in office. And then on the top mast there, we have banks resume issuance of what we were just discussing a while ago, old 500, 1,000 notes to customers. Well, the customers that are issuing it, some of them are rejecting it at, let's say this, at 503 billion. CBN records 52 or 32.39% repayment on the Anchor Borrowers Program. Let's just leave it there with this. Of course, you see that picture of Atiku leading march for free and fair voting.
This is the Punch newspaper. It's leading with the Supreme Court's order on old notes. Banks in partial compliance begin skeletal recirculation of these notes. A few banks pay all 500, 1,000 on Monday. Others await directives as Emefiele keeps mum. Most ATMs remain dry. Skeptical bank customers, traders reject old notes from banks. 50 feared killed as suspected herdsmen invade Benue communities. 203 hoodlums arrested during presidential poll, and that's a statistic from the Nigeria Police Force. Don't handle education like Buhari. The Academic Staff Union of Universities tells President-elect Tinubu. That is on page 9. Find out more on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. Government seeks 327 billion naira donor funding for census. That's on page 18. Oh, that census is supposed to come up on March the 29th through the first week of April, but there's been suggestions and recommendations for it to be postponed to May. We'll get final word from the National Population Commission this week. Still in the Punch newspaper, Atiku vows to extend protests, demands result cancellation on page 2. Well, we saw protests yesterday while the PDP and its supporters were out in the streets. He wants the result cancelled, but they're in court as well. So I wonder which way is it? We going left and right at the same time? INEC challenges Atiku Obi's suit on BVAS.
All right, you'd wonder why then go to court, yeah. All right, let's look at The Guardian. The Guardian newspaper. Atiku leads supporters to INEC, threatens daily protests. INEC owes allegiance to Nigerians, not any political party, says Okoye. Retire from politics, go to Dubai, stop embarrassing yourself, Tinubu tells Atiku. Some other stories there. Imperative to prosecute election offenders and violators. Uncertainty over next election as INEC seeks to reconfigure BVAS. Senate presidency, we're talking about that yesterday here. The front page of This Day had, people who are likely, what do you call
potential.
them? There's even another one I was looking for. Potential
aspirants.
People. Not even aspirants. There's, where does it go? Senate presidency, APC tips Southeast. I mean, that's why I was raising that. And then diphtheria kills 61, 783 others hospitalized. This is in Kano State. Waiting game as lawyers argue CBN's compliance with Supreme Court verdict. That's for The Guardian.
Do we have the Daily Sun? APC marks PDP as Atiku Ayu lead protest to Nigeria's electoral body INEC. The main opposition party insists on cancellation of presidential poll. We have no allegiance to any party. INEC responds. Senate President APC tips Southeast movement to achieve balanced power sharing, says party chieftain. INEC asks court to modify order granting Obi Atiku access to election materials. It's seeking permission to reconfigure the BVAS. Well, it's just a few days. How many days? Is it 5 days to go?
Yeah, today's Tuesday. So
no, 5 days. That's 4 days to the election.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And then they're saying they need to use those devices for the election on Saturday.
So it's like being in the center. Where do you go?
I wonder how this will play out.
What do you do? How do you balance things now? All right, I think time for the international newspapers. Let's start with Daily Express. Daily Express. It says Suella back law to stop boats or betray Britain. Then you have some other stories there, Sir David. I've toured the globe, but nature here is just as dramatic. I mean, that's what somebody who did a tour is saying. Yeah, we'll go to the next paper.
This is the Financial Times. And Speaker McCarthy to meet Taiwan's leader in US to avert Beijing backlash. And there's more Estonia vote. Kallas scores landslide win. The Prime Minister Kaja Kallas has been addressing a press conference in Tallinn in Estonia. Her party is the one that supports Ukraine. And the top civil servant case eyes early exit after heat over leaked WhatsApp texts.
All right, The Guardian, that's the International Guardian, The Guardian, yes, it says, revealed biggest super emitting methane leaks threatening climate. All right, let's look at that. The picture you see there of those two ladies and one gentleman. It says anger after it takes 46 hours to find car wreck. Police have been criticized after a crash in Cardiff on Friday night left these 3 people dead and 2 seriously injured, went undiscovered until the early hours of yesterday morning. CBR chief steps aside over claims on conduct. This is from The Guardian. Zoe Williams, I thought Johnson could sink no lower. I was wrong.
This is The Eye. Sunak plan to stop channel migrants may be unworkable, Tories warn him. Well, the Prime Minister will today announce laws which bar all asylum claims from people who cross the channel in the small boat, deport them from the UK and ban them from that's ever returning. Former Tory cabinet ministers telling the PM that he risks over promising and under delivering, and the critics are warning that the Stop the Boats pledge is unworkable as the UK lacks the capacity to detain tens of thousands of asylum seekers and may struggle to find countries to take deportees. They do have that plan with that program with Rwanda. Undercover filming in an NHS ambulance, 20-hour delays and patients using makeshift stretchers.
All right, I think that's all the papers we have. If we just take a deep dive into the Punch, it says bank in partial compliance begin skeletal recirculation. It's very interesting. This could help the acceptance with banks now partial compliance, they begin skeletal recirculation. That will begin to send the right signals to people out there that you don't have anything to lose by taking the old notes, after the Supreme Court issued an order that until December 31st, 2023, both the new and the old notes are legal tender pari passu.
And we could go even further. The president could say something. The central bank could as well say something, and we could about just put a rest to it. Should we expect a statement? They haven't said anything. It's been 4 days.
I think that ordinarily that should be the right thing, because the Supreme Court has issued an order.
Yeah. So do they want to go with the Supreme Court, or are they sticking to their guns?
For now, they've not said anything.
Nothing's been said.
So they're leaving. So they're keeping. The danger of that is that they're keeping people hanging on the balance. So people don't know whether to go to the right or to the left. That's some people. While some people, I told you that I had 2,000 notes, old ones, and immediately I had that order. I went ahead and I spent it.
So you're very rich. Yeah, because I don't have the old notes. I've been looking for cash, and you do transfers sometimes. I did a transfer this morning. It did go through.
The transfer thing is the one that is hurting people the most. Either it's not going, or it hangs sometime for 2 days, 3 days, and then you're wondering. But we just hope for the best. Somebody says you can kill a man, you can take everything from a man, but and he still lives and is kicking. But the day you take hope away from him, he dies.
Okay, that's the press preview. You can follow us online at Arise TV.